The Trudeau Liberals say they're going to do a review of their own anti-racism funding project. That's according to Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino, who's come out and said the Trudeau Liberals really messed up by giving six figures to a raging anti-Semite. The Diversity Minister, Ahmed Hussein, says they're going to look at their vetting process to figure out how exactly a racist got money for anti-racism work. It's all very confusing, but here's the truth. If the Liberals actually want to make a difference, if the Trudeau administration is sincere about this, they're going to have to look at a much bigger pattern of racism in their government, a pattern much bigger than Laith Marouf. For example, last year, Global Affairs Canada, the department of our federal government that trains our bureaucrats that go out into the world and represent Canada as diplomats, these guys conducted diversity training, which taught a bizarre kind of racism. They taught that objectivity, perfectionism, a sense of urgency, the kind of cultural traits that are pretty fundamental to life in a country like Canada. They taught those things are white supremacy culture. Can you imagine that? We're training diplomats to go to other countries and say that being on time and punctual is white supremacy. How might that message go over in India or South Africa or China? Weird stuff. Or let's take a look at another department that got into hot water over racism. This is the Ministry of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship. They put forward an anti-racism strategy earlier this year that included a weird definition of white people. It obfuscated the difference between white people and white privilege, which is already kind of bizarre enough. But then it went so far as to suggest that if you are non-white, but you have the wrong politics, you could be considered white, regardless of what you look like. So if you are a dark-skinned person from all sorts of different parts of the world you could be, and you come to Canada and the Department of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship doesn't think you satisfactorily question white supremacy and colonialism, maybe they consider you white now. This is weird stuff. So when we say that the problem of racism in the Trudeau government is bigger than Laith Marouf, we mean it. Let's look at another example from earlier this year. The Ministry of National Defense. They commissioned a report on racism, and they were accused of actually promoting racism in the process because they defined diversity and inclusion in the workplace as excluding non-white people who are religious. You heard that right. The very arm of government that oversees policy that shapes our military and armed forces put forward a report arguing that diversity and inclusion does not include non-white people if they are religious. I mean, when you talk about racism in the Trudeau administration, it is so much bigger than what we've just seen in recent headlines. It is an ideology, a worldview that is, on one hand, obsessed with calling other people racist, like our entire country, but then putting forward weird ideas about who people are and trying to define them in these racial categories that don't make a lot of sense. So if there's any sincerity, if the Trudeau Liberals are serious about a review of how they've approached anti-racism, they've got a lot of work to do. But hey, I'm here to help. Prime Minister Trudeau, give me a call if you'd like a hand in figuring this one out.